So g'day, big bike adventures. One of the things that I like to do is use YouTube tutorials to learn how to do things, so I hope this tutorial is handy for you. Today I just want to have a little bit of a chat about doing some simple maintenance on the Crosstourer. Now for those of you, if you're anything like me, you prefer to do your own routine maintenance yourself. I recommend it obviously once the bike is out of warranty and once you're sure you know what you're doing. So one of the first things that I wanted to do when I got this bike was to learn how to get to the air cleaner, and I had planned to do a lot of off-road riding, so I knew that I needed to make sure I had a good air cleaner in there and to clean it regularly. If you have a look at the bike, I'll put a picture up of what the bike is like normally. The bike has two pieces that go on the side of it. I'm going to start with the pieces off, and we'll put them back on and I'll show you how they work. There is a bit of a trick to it, and I want to show you that trick so that when you come to this point you actually are aware of how to do it. So we're going to start with the sequence. I'm going to do it, obviously I'm going to put it all back together. I'm not going to show you how to take the tank off, it's pretty straightforward. There's a couple of bolts up behind the steering head. Lift the tank up, obviously take the seat off, seat comes off, we'll do all this, tank comes up, and then you can access the airbox and the airbox cover, which is pretty straightforward. There's 4 screws to undo, so if you have some questions about that, let me know and I'll do a tutorial on that as well, but it's pretty straightforward. So let's go. I'll just show you the pieces that are involved. It's very, very simple. So each side is a little bit different. On the Crosstourer, on the left hand side of the Crosstourer, there's a traction control button on the left hand side cowling. There's obviously some wiring in underneath there, there's a plug in underneath there, so there's a wire there you've got to connect that to, and I'll show you how to do that, but that's only on this side. On the other side it's just simply putting the panels back on. The pieces are pretty straightforward. There's an Allen head, that one's got a plastic washer on it, that one goes on the front panel. I'll show you that when we get there. There's another Allen head, the same size, and that's going to be able to hold the top on. There's one 13mm bolt holds the front cowl on down to here. I'll show you that in a moment. And then there's 5 of these little Honda clips. So we'll get some focus on that. So these are the ones that you need to push in the centre to. So they go in like that. Push in flush, and then to get them out you need to actually push something in there so that you've actually got that centre pushed in. So it's all pretty straightforward. I'll put up a zoomed in picture of that. There's 2 panels. There's the one that covers the tank and the lower part of the engine, and it's interesting the way Honda have done this, because it's both a slide on and a push in, and you've got to get the sequence right. I've spoken to a lot of people that have actually broken this clip off the back here because they've actually tried to pull before they've slidden. So we need to slide it and then push it. So there's a point in here. There's a rubber bung that sits into. There's a clip in here that slides onto. So this panel slides in towards the front. The front cowling goes on and then slides back and then pushes in. I'll show you that when I get to it. So, locate this. Again, we've got to get this lug in underneath there, so it pushes onto there, like that. We've got to get this into that rubberized. Now I've got some little cable ties on there just to hold that rubber bung in, because the last couple of times I've done it, it's pushed out, so that just holds that in place. So slide it in, like that, pushes in. Oh, actually the other thing too is there's a few velcro spots along here as well, and they obviously help hold the panel closer to the bike. So that goes on, line that bung up, push it in, just push the velcro on. So at the same time as you're pushing that forward, it's best to locate this lug here onto that. There's a rubber grommet, and so that's pushed forward, pushed in. That's seated up underneath that to hold those together. And that 13mm bolt that I told you about goes into here, and I'll secure that. So that holds that radiator cowling, and that panel holds them in place. Okay, just a small correction, that's actually a 12mm, not a 13mm. That bolt there takes a 12mm socket. The only thing holding that on at the moment is the clip there, and the velcro. I'll do that up before we put this cowl on, but I just wanted to show you that all sits in there nicely, nice and tidy, and it's really only the push-in lug there, the clip there, and those velcro that actually hold that all in place at the moment. So that's all just sitting there. Okay, so with this one, we've got a lug here, got this push stud here, which goes into this slot, and because we've got the traction control switch on here, we've obviously just got to plug that back in, so as we connect it up. So we'll do that now. Okay, and this sits onto the, that's right, it sits onto the front there. Those lugs again push back. So that pushes back, that lug pushes up into there. Just got to make sure this inside cowling is tucked in and in place. And that's basically on as well. So we've pushed that in there, we've got the velcro, we've got those lugs seated in against there. The bolt with the washer goes down here. I always prefer to seat them by hand first before I get the power tool out, and then we can just slowly see oops, it's a little bit too tight to squeeze that washer out. Okay, I'll just manually torque that up. The other one has a seating cleat on it. I'll just check that's all been connected. Okay, so these clips are the standard Honda clips. There's 3 across the top and there's 2 down the inside, so pretty straightforward. Just locating those holes, seat them in. And that's it, that's done. So there's not much to it, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of remembering that the front cowling goes forward and the rear panel moves back. So you've got to pull them out and then slide, pull out, slide. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, hope you found that helpful. I'll go and do the other side, which is exactly the same.